Hello YouTube. Remember a few weeks ago when I did the Vermeer Baler 20-year equipment review and I said that I hadn't had to replace many bearings, but I expect to pretty soon? Well, I should have knocked on wood. I baled 71 bales a couple of weeks ago, and when I was checking it over on the end, I had a couple of rolls were hot, and turns out I had actually three bearings that I know need to be replaced. There's a small roller and a big roller down here. These are not a big deal. You just take those couple of bolts out, loosen the third, and this part, it's part of the net wrap system, but it swings down and you can take the rollers in and out easy peasy. But the third bearing was on my shuttle up in here, one of the two rollers on the shuttle. I don't know if you can see it too well, but there's you can see the arm that goes back. The shuttle travels up and down and keeps pressure on the belts as the bale grows. And it's got two rollers. The back one isn't so bad because when the shuttle is in its downmost position, you can actually access the back roller from here. But that front roller, the only way you can access that, access the bolts out, is through those holes there. So I took the bolts, or the pins out of the hydraulic cylinders, put the air out of the airbags, and my current plan for trying to change the bearings on that front cylinder, because those two rollers are the worst ones to get out on this baler. So I figured if I gotta suffer, I'm only gonna suffer once. So I'm gonna put all four bearings in those two rollers. I've got ratchet straps around the roll, up over the top of another roll and down onto that. I've got a bar there, and I've got the my come along there. My theory is I can take those bolts out, let this down enough that I can get at it, swing it backwards, get at it, get it out, change the bearings, put it back in there, and then ratchet it back up into place with that, with the come along here. So don't know how well that's going to work, but that's my theory. We'll see if it actually works. The two rollers that were here I've got out already. I've got them in the shop there. They're all ready to go back in. I got the new bearings in those. And also, because one should look at every project as an opportunity to buy a new tool, I've come into the 21st century and got myself a cordless impact. I picked up this DeWalt 20 volt XR. I got this one because a couple of reasons. It had really good reviews. It's supposed to be really powerful. And because I already have a DeWalt inflator, which I don't believe I've shown you yet, but I really like. No more dragging an air tank back and forth whenever I need to pump the tires up on a wagon or other implement. And because of that, because I already have the inflator, I already had two batteries for this, so I only had to buy the tool itself. I already have the batteries and the charger. So, yep, finally into the 21st century a little bit on my tools here. So I'm going to see if I can get that roll out and put new bearings in it, and we'll bring you back after a while to see how it goes. Okay, the degree of difficulty just went up. I can't get those bolts to move. I can't get them to move with a 3/4 inch breaker bar with a cheater bar on it. And I worked on them with the 1/2 inch DeWalt impact until this 1/2 inch Allen socket that I had. This was an impact socket, not just a regular socket. It eventually twisted that off. That DeWalt has a lot of torque, but those things are stuck good. they're a 1/2-inch Allen head, and of course these it has a beveled head on it, so not only are the threads rusted, but I suppose it's the beveled part of this is rusted too, so it's really stuck. At this point, I don't think I have any choice but to try and drill them out. So, the fun times continue, but well, I'll keep going on this. Got to get it fixed. Okay, the attempt to drill those out turned out to be a failure. They're too hard. I could not drill them, and I couldn't really get a good brace to push on it anyway. But they're so hard that I couldn't make a dent in them with the bits I have. So I went on to plan D, E, F, whatever it is. There was enough room between the locking collar and the arm there that I got my Sawzall, and I got in there and was able to saw off the bolts. I was kind of skeptical of whether that would work, but it seemed to. So I've got the front roller off. I need to try and let it down now. I know I need to square up the end of the shafts now when I get the shaft out of the roller, and I know the shaft is shorter now, but I think I can just shim it back out to get it the right length. So there's one battle that I've won, but still haven't won the war yet, so we'll keep going. Okay, lowering the roller down with the ratchet straps and the come along didn't work half bad. I've got it down low enough now that I can deal with it, so let's get this out of here. Okay, there are the two rollers off the end gate that are all ready to go back in. And these are the two rollers from the shuttle that I've got off it. I wish I wouldn't have had to cut the bolts off of them, but that seemed to be the least bad option I had. That's the bearing out of the rear one that was bad. I've got the shaft out of that. I need to get the shaft out of the front one, and of course I still need to get the bolts out of the shafts, which promises to be fun. But it's 6 o'clock now, and it's hot, and it's humid, and I'm sweating like a butcher, and I've officially had enough fun for one day, so I'm going to pick this back up in the morning. Okay, it's the following afternoon, and it's hot and humid again, but I have finished disassembling everything. I've got the shafts out of the rollers. I've got the bearings off of the shafts, and I've got the bolts that I had to saw off out of the shafts. They actually came out pretty easily once I got the shafts out in the open, could put a little heat on them. This morning, I ran over to my friendly Vermeer dealer and got 4 new bolts. So I've got everything I need now to put this back together, but I'm going to go in the house and sit down for about an hour, let all this stuff cool off really good. And then I'll come out and start cleaning things up and getting ready to assemble them again. Okay, I've got the rollers assembled. Shafts back in, new bearings installed. Where I'd taken some metal off the ends of the shafts with the Sawzall, I just built those back up with a welder and squared them off with a square and the hand grinder, so that should be fine. So I'm getting ready to call it a day right now. I'm going to come out first thing in the morning when it's hopefully a little bit cooler and hoist these things back into place. I'm optimistic that I might actually get this thing back together completely tomorrow, so we'll bring you back then. Sometimes when you're an army of one, you need to think a little bit outside the box. Okay, I've got the back roller installed, hoist up into place and installed. I've got the bolts started, but I don't have them tightened yet. Now the front roller needs to go in that loop there. So now I'm going to take the come along and raise the shuttle back up to where these bolts are in position that I can access them from the holes up there. And also that will give me more slack in these belts, give me more room to slide that front roller into those loops like I need it to be. Okay, I got the shuttle up in its upper position. I've got a 2x4 here to hold the belts. Now I just have to take that front roller and slip it into the belts right there, and it will be in the proper position, and then hoist it up into place with the come along. Nothing to it, right? Okay, because it worked fairly well last time, I've decided to use the tractor to hoist this front roller up into place. Should work just as well as it did last time, I suppose. All right, I've got all the rollers reinstalled. That will be this big one and then the little one right underneath it, and these two rollers on the shuttle to keep the belt tight. So I'll call this a win. Just a few little things to do on the baler left now. Hopefully we'll be able to string a few nice days together and I'll be able to make hay again pretty soon. It's been a while. It's been really rainy the last 3 weeks, actually the last 4 weeks or so, but anyway, I'm about ready again with this thing, so we start making hay again, I'll probably shoot some more video, but until then, everyone out there have a nice day.